Hey guys, Art13131 here, and we are in week 5 now. Starting off week 5, so basically there's 11 weeks to this, so we're about in the halfway mark to the term. I want to remind everybody to make sure you turn in your work by the following week it was posted. So if we're in week 5, you should have already sent me all your work from week 1, 2, 3, and then be finishing up week 4 and starting week 5 now and sending me week 4 stuff in week 5. This is, all to not fall so far behind. You have all this work to do that you have been sort of not doing. And if I get your work in early, I can give input. You can get a better grade on everything you're doing with my suggestions if you work more on any particular assignment. So that's another reason to get your work in on time as opposed to waiting to the end of the semester. Now, yes, I will accept work and grade it all the way to the last day, except for the midterm and the final. Those are due on specific days or weeks. The midterm is due this week by Sunday night, the 1st. So that's Sunday night the 1st. Midterm presentation is due. The final is due at the end of the term, and I'll talk more about that later. Basically, it's matting and framing one of your best work for a professional exhibit, and we can talk about that in a couple of weeks or whatever. But that's due at the end of the term. Midterm due this week. So let's talk about the midterm one more time. And we'll talk about number 9 assignment, which is landscape drawing. There's no homework this week, so you can work on your midterm. The midterm presentation is a 5-minute long PowerPoint, Google Slides, or video or other way of having a presentation to send to me. Typically, that is one of those 3 is mostly used by students to make their presentation and send to me. So 5-minute long, meaning you're going to time yourself by watching your video or your Google slide PowerPoint and timing yourself reading it at a relatively normal speed and viewing the images, in what would be comfortably actually able to look at something for a short amount of time and get the gist of it. So all this is considered in how I'm going to read it and view it, right? Which I'm telling you is going to be at a normal speed. Not too slow, not too fast, kind of, relaxed, normal sort of speed. So that's how you time yourself. I don't want it to be 3 minutes long, 4.5, okay, but 5, yes, or longer, okay, that's what I want. And you are to provide images and text and your own artwork. So you are either going to present on a particular artist, could be famous, could be not, could be somebody nobody I haven't heard of, or you might not think I've heard of, or a lot of people have not heard of, somebody that you know. Somebody with skills, right, that's a good artist. And you're going to provide images of that person's work. Now, you could also present on a art style or technique or method too, like watercolor, oil painting, acrylic, drawing, charcoal, pastel, all kind of other art, like tattoo art, cake making, costume, theater design for costume and makeup, or just makeup in general. It can be thinking out of the box slightly like that. One student asked me about album cover art, and yes, you could present on that. as long as you provide a lot of information of who the artists are, what album it's for, how that works with the music possibly, why you're presenting on it, why you like it. And then, of course, you're going to have to do your own artwork that relates to your subject matter. So you're going to have to make sure that you can create the art necessary for your subject matter, your own artwork, one piece. Okay. You can also present on an art movement, a particular art movement like surrealism or impressionism or postmodernism or pop art, abstract expressionism. All those were different art movements. So there was performance art too, lots of different art. And it doesn't have to be what we're doing in this class. It can be something other than drawing and painting that has to do with art. If it's something that you do already that is artistic other than that, then use your own work from that and present on that. And then give examples of other work from other artists to relate to with your work. Okay, so you have to provide your own work. You have to provide text. Unless it's a video you're going to speak, then you're going to be able to present like you were to an open audience, and give all the details. Typically, it's like an essay in a way, except for you're not writing this. You're not going to hand something into me that's written. It's all in your presentation, PowerPoint or Google Slides or video. But you would have a introduction to the body of work, which is consisting of most the information, and then maybe possibly a short conclusion. Of course, you're going to have to be concise and informative through the whole thing. All right, so that's basically it. If you have any questions about what what a good idea would be, if you're questioning, well, is this, something I could present on, or you don't really know, let me know, and we'll discuss it. But any of those guidelines will work. And like I said, it's due this week. I started headsing everybody up last week about it and talked about it actually a little bit briefly in the beginning videos of this course, that there would be a midterm about the halfway mark, and we would discuss that about a couple of weeks beforehand. So there's only one assignment this week as opposed to three other than that. So it gives you time to work on your midterm presentation. And number 9 is landscape drawing. It could be a painting too. If you're really good at painting or you want to try it, go ahead. Or any medium you want to use to do your landscape is okay if you have those available to you. I'm going to show you a few different landscape drawing and painting. If you go to Bing or Google and put in landscape drawings, usually it'll bring up paintings too, or you can just bring up paintings. But what I think is best is if you actually go out and look at something and draw it, because you're going to have a certain light source there and lots more possibly than your own imagination can come up with. Things to focus in on is your light source, and then you have lights and darks to everything. You have light side and dark side, like we've been talking about with everything we've been drawing. Well, it's the same in landscape too. So there's going to be a darker side to a mountain, let's say, and a lighter side where the light is hitting, and a darker side where the light isn't hitting. It goes with everything, because there is going to be a certain light source coming from a direction. And then this gives your subject, whatever you're drawing or painting, the shape. So if you notice, this tree has a lighter side and a darker side, and an in-between area where midtones are. Everything's going to have that. Wherever the light is shining, that's going to have that. Same with fence posts, trees, houses, whatever you're you're doing. This side of the house is a little darker than that side. Trees are lit up on one side and a little more shadowy on the other side. So however you're doing this, you have to represent your light source. If there's no light source represented, I'm going to say, hey, this looks really flat and has no shape. Excuse me. So you'll see that in all these examples where the light source, some of them not, like this one, not so much. It looks flat. So it'd be better for you to go out and find something to draw. But if you want to use one of these as a model and try to copy it, this has really good contrast from different light source. Lots of these do. All right, so get some ideas. Like I say, you can use any medium we want, and but put content into it. Don't make it just like a field with one tree, and a bird flying, and everything's really bland and boring. Don't do that. Put a lot of content. You want to think about your composition. There's a couple trees, maybe a tree on the side here. Everything's not symmetrical. It's like a tree over here and some back here. Do that. Excuse me. I think it's the allergies out here. I'm outside right now. So let's get started on that and see how that's going. You have any questions, let me know. And otherwise, get your midterm to me by Sunday night. Any questions on that, let me know. And that's going to do it for this week.